Hi, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Harne podcast. Today, we talk about project and program management, and to talk about it, we have with us Roshel Fernandes. Rochelle is a graduate from the Schulich School of Business in Toronto and is currently working as a program manager at the Zurich Insurance Group in Canada. Before we begin this conversation, please like this video, leave a comment on it, and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get this conversation started.
Yeah. Hello, Rochelle. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for your time. And we hope to draw a lot of insights from your experience today.
Hey, hi, Raghav. Happy to be here and looking forward to this journey right now.
All right, let's dig right into it. And I'll start by asking about your undergraduate degree, your work experience before your MBA, and what you're doing in your current role.
Okay, sounds good. I did my bachelor's in information technology because I was more interested in computer science and pursuing a career as a software engineer. And after 4 years of my undergrad degree, I joined in as a technology consultant at EY. So my experience in EY revolved around like developing products that were more suited to like the business requirements, primarily in the financial services industry. And my curiosity, at least for understanding what an end-to-end cycle is of delivering a product, did lead my journey into pursuing an MBA. And just being as a software engineer, you're just secluded into just one area of this entire life cycle of the product, and you just don't have any visibility of knowing what is happening or what requirements are being conceptualized, what are people thinking in terms of if the customer is happy. All I was thinking is like, is my code working? Is, things are going fine? Is the performance being affected? So just having one view of it just clouded my judgment on the entire bigger picture. And after a couple of years as a software engineer, interacting with some of the product owners, some of the business SMEs on some of my projects, I was more excited on understanding and learning more about what this journey is going to be, and even trying to be in some of those roles, and being a person who actually knows the IT side of things and also knows the business aspect of it. And I feel that nowadays there are people who just know the business and IT aspect of it. And I wanted to make sure that I'm a person who understands both aspects of it. And when I was talking to some of my friends in the industry, I heard of this term called product manager. And I was more interested in understanding what it is about, and hence decided, I'm going to jump into a role similar like that after doing my MBA. What I currently do right now is I'm a program manager at a financial firm in Toronto here. And it is Zurich, Canada. It's an insurance company that spans over 100 years, I would say. I mean, it doesn't seem that long, but it's been there around 100 years, delivering a lot of insurance products over here in the Canadian market.
And insurance is an important aspect of the Canadian economy. Thank you for that answer, Rochelle. And you've kind of answered why MBA. So, I mean, if you could expand a little more on that. I mean, you said that you were more focused on the coding side of things and you wanted to get a more holistic approach. But apart from that, were there any other reasons for you to pursue MBA, specifically from Canada? I mean, you could have done it from India, or you could have done it from USA, Europe. Why Canada?
So a lot of my projects, though I was a technology consultant working in India, my projects were spanning a lot of North American countries. So it was more of, I gained experience in this industry from North America. So it would just be a right fit for me to get an MBA from here. And because I've already built a strong network of professionals who have helped me throughout my journey and my career, they had actually assured me that, to reach out to them in case of any job roles. So it just seemed better that I would pursue something in USA or Canada. USA was a little hard because I've heard a lot of people telling me about the various issues with regards to H1B. So I did not really want to take the risk. And Canada seemed like a better option because you're closer to the US. So you're going to get the similar kind of opportunities. I would say not as many opportunities as US, but you're going to get a similar kind of opportunities in Canada. Hence, I chose to do my MBA in Canada. And I did. And the thing is that EY is also situated in Canada. So at least my thought processes were do the MBA, get all the exposure that you require, and probably rejoin EY as a backup plan if I do not get the role that I wanted or in the company that I wanted. So it was more of like a thought process of like, okay, where did I build my professional journey and what I can leverage from my professional journey after my MBA. I didn't want to waste 6 years of experience that I had as part of EY. So I decided choose Canada and rely on EY as a backup option for work. But why MBA was primarily because just to gain the overall rounded, holistical view of a product life cycle, to understand what different components or how different teams come together in releasing a product. And even though I decided that okay, I'm going into this journey, even with the MBA, my mindset didn't change. I still want to get that overview. Like there are people who usually specialize in particular areas during the MBA, but I was more interested in understanding every area, because who knows, if I do not want to continue with my career, I know that I would always have a backup plan. If I wanted to start a business, if I was more interested in partnering up with someone to start a business, I would have that rounded knowledge. And hence, getting a holistic view and just doing the general MBA was very important for me as part of my MBA journey.
Right. Thank you for that answer. And right now, what you're doing is you're a program manager. So
Yes.
you had a generalist approach. So I imagine you would not have thought about, and correct me if I'm wrong, so you were not specifically targeting this role when
No.
you joined the MBA. So what was it during the MBA which made you finally decide that this is what I want to do?
I would say I was still confused after the MBA. And the primary reason is that, there are so many job titles in the industry and you do not know what you want to get into. And it's simple, like for a marketing professional to go into like a brand manager. But for someone who is already have 6 years of development experience and want to push to the next phase or next phase of that career. So it was more like a leadership role that I was looking for. And I had applied for a few leadership programs in the as part of my job hunting, but I did not get through. Like I made it to the last one, did not get through. But when I was networking, there were people who actually told me that a project manager or a product manager is a role I would be. I mean, like it would be more suited to the kind of view that I was looking after the MBA. I had product manager in my vision to like tackle, but the problem of that was because I did not have prior experience, I actually found it really hard landing a job in that particular segment. Project management seemed like a more doable or more achievable target at that point of time. And since I had the right kind of transferable skills from my previous experience, I was able to nail down some of the project manager roles. And I did take up a project manager role right after I completed my MBA.
And you are a program manager right now. So for our listeners, could you please distinguish between a project manager and a program manager and some of your job responsibilities right now?
Yeah. I would say a program manager is just the next level of a project manager. And so it does in a program manager does involve quite a few roles of quite a few job responsibilities what a project manager has. But I had to start off in project management just to gain that Canadian experience. And as part of a project manager role, um, you're essentially working on just one project, or you have a multiple projects where you are responsible for. And these are, I would say, small scale projects that you're going to be responsible for delivering. That would include your planning, your resource planning, your budget allocation, just to make sure all your milestones are achieved. So these are just the basic project management duties. The other thing I would just want to stress on is like every domain has different kinds of project management or project manager kind of roles. The project manager role that I was in a banking industry was so different from a project manager role from a marketing industry. Because when I was networking, I understood that, okay, not every domain has the same kind of project manager responsibilities. But since I was in the financial services industry, this was how a project manager responsibilities were, especially in a financial services. And my prior experience is all in financial services, so I can only talk about this. And in my current role, I am a program manager, and this is for, I would say, like a 10 million plus project. So, and it's more of a product being launched, and I am responsible for all the work streams and ensuring that this product is released in the market, with the right kind of deliverables. And this touches each and every department or each and every component that is associated to releasing a product. um, I would say I'm still learning as a program manager, because this is a new role and it's been just 10 months into my new role. Um, and this is more of managing a couple of projects within that program. And that's just the distinguishing factor of what a project manager does and what a program manager does. So I overview a couple of projects as part of my program, and that is what a program manager would do. So that would be like a next step of anyone who's starting as a project manager. They would get a chance to like elevate their career and get into like a more of a program manager role. And this gives me more exposure to every department in the company, be it marketing, sales, finance. You have a full rounded view of what is happening before we launch a product.
Thank you for clearing that for our listeners. And that sounds like a lot of responsibilities, to be honest. So could you tell us, like, for people who are targeting this job designation, what are the kind of skills they require? Or during their MBA, what are the subjects they should take, which will help them?
So the MBA does provide you a project management course, and that would actually set or like just help you with the foundations of what a project manager does. And to be a program manager, you would be required to have at least some years of leading projects in your past life as a project manager, or has any other title, but just leading projects, managing a team, and planning out activities that lead to a project completion. So you're supposed to be um, having all that experience in order to become a program manager. But as part of the MBA, just doing the project manager course, just understanding what your financial basics, because you're going to be responsible for budgeting, and that's a big portion of it. And just having the rounded knowledge of MBA helps you understand every part of releasing a product. So right now, because my products will be released to the team, I would have to work with UI UX designers, understand what a customer point or pain point is, and subjects like marketing, strategy, and product management in my MBA help me like understand what goes in this process of defining these requirements and working with these particular teams. And considering my program manager roles, involves in touching every department of the organization. I felt my well-rounded MBA experience helped me, deal with a lot of problems related to each of these departments in my current role. So just having that overall knowledge will really help you as a program manager, because you are supposed to be dealing with each of these departments, and you would not want to be unaware of what each department does if you do not know just the basics of it.
Right. And considering someone who does not have that project manager experience, so the stepping stone is first you become a project manager, and then after a few years, you will be given that designation of a program manager. So
Yes,
with that in mind, should students consider the PMP designation? Because that is an external certification, which a lot of companies do ask for from what I've seen in the market.
Yes. So essentially, the PMP certification is essential if you would want to break into the project manager career or a program manager career. But even to get a PMP certificate, you're supposed to have 3 years or 2 to 3 years of experience, and that is categorized as part of your PMP certification. So the first step, at least for people who just want to break into it and who cannot just land a job or an internship, is to at least do your Scrum Master or your or those basic certifications that are provided by the Scrum Agile Foundation. If you do some of those kind of certifications, you do land a job as a project manager, because companies are confident that you have gone through the training in understanding of what is actually required from a project manager. So just doing some of those certifications will help you gain that project manager role. And after a couple of years as a project manager, you will be able to apply for the PMP certification. And once you have the PMP certification, then it's pretty easy for you to, get any of the program manager jobs, because as a program manager, they are expecting you to lead large scale projects. And that is, I guess, similar for all the industries. So having a few years of that experience, having that PMP certification will make you a strong candidate for getting that program manager role.
Thank you. And now let us talk about the process of getting that job of a project or a program manager. So what are your tips on resume building, networking, and how is the job interview process like? So we'll start with just the resume for now. So tell us your tips on resume building.
Okay, I would just say, I think the first thing, even before a resume, is just nailing down which domain you would want to work for. If you're looking for a project manager job, every domain has different sets of requirements. And some of these domains look for a project manager experience as well as a domain experience. So if you do not have the domain experience, that might be a setback for you to getting that project manager job. So just try to be very focused. Just limit yourself to 2 domains, I would say, at the max. You cannot go on applying to all the other domain project manager roles. You're not going to get it, and it's just a waste of time. So just focus on 2 domains of project management that are related to your career or even related to your passion. As long as you can answer questions in that particular industry, no one's going to say no to you in getting that project manager job. In terms of resume writing, identify all the transferable skills from your previous experience that showcase you as a leader, a team player, because those are essential attributes for a project manager. Because project manager is responsible for motivating their team, getting their team to the completion line, and also planning. So if you are not in the planning process, your team's going to fall behind because they don't know about their deadlines. So for the job that you're applying for as a project manager, look through the jobs and responsibilities. So you're going to find those keywords that are mentioned, and it's essential you pick up those keywords and formulate around it and build your resume accordingly. As a tip, look out for a lot of jobs in the market in the same domain and look at different jobs responsibilities. That would actually give you a good idea on how to formulate your experiences, and you get an idea how you can use a lot of your transferable skills, even if you don't have the required experience, into that leadership role. Focus more on showing the impact, like as a result, and use a star format when you're describing each bullet point related to your experience. And also make sure that you highlight like the word, for example, like leadership, and then talk about what the leadership responsibilities you did in the star format, and then show the impact, because people want to see impact. They do not want to see like a general line that, oh, I performed this, but has what, when you perform this, what outcome did that response or that task entail? And if you probably provide this would give the employer or the recruiter more insight on what did you do as a leader as part of your project management experience. That will probably help you more into getting that job. Network, I would say network, like even though you think that, okay, this is a domain that you're going, network with the professionals in the same company just to get an idea of what projects are going on, what is expected out of you. So you would have an idea that, okay, you are getting into that right job. You don't want to get into a project manager role and then understand that, okay, it entails like a lot of other responsibility apart from project manager. So I think project managers for some companies also entail that, oh, you do sales, you do something else. So you just want to make sure that you're very clear with the recruiter, with your networking people, that you are getting into the right job that you want to. And that so networking made me realize that some of the jobs that I thought or some of the companies that I thought I would be a great fit as a project manager would not be the case, because the roles and responsibilities were a little different from what I was expecting. So just make sure that you are understanding the roles and responsibilities before getting into the job, because that is very key, essential for your performance as a project manager.
And those are wonderful tips. Thank you so much for that. And let's now talk about the job interview process. So how many rounds are there? What kind of questions are you asked during these interviews? Could you please elaborate on that?
So I think the job interview, at least for a project manager, is more focused on what did you do as part of your prior experiences. It's going to be focusing a lot on behavioral questions, on your strengths and weaknesses, on the situations that have. So there would be a lot of situation questions that they would ask you, and they would ask you, how did you overcome it? So preparing and memorizing yourself with those basic behavioral questions will actually help you answer any question that throw on you. And make sure you're providing your answers in the star format. That is key. That's always what a recruiter is looking for from the interviews. In terms of the interview rounds, I would say probably 2 or 3, based on if they have an HR, they have a particular project that they're recruiting for, and then the senior level management. So it can be either 2 interviews or 3 interviews. I'm not really experienced a lot of interviews, but I would say like 3 is like the maximum interviews. First one being the HR, the second one being more on the project that you're being recruited for, and the third one being like the management that you're dealing with, some of the C-level executives that you would have to talk to, just to talk more about how you as a leader have completed projects or led projects to completion.
Right. Thank you. And for our listeners who don't know about the STAR format, STAR stands for situation, task, action, results. So what was the situation you faced? What was the task? What action did you take? And then what was the impact or the result of that action? So make sure you answer along those lines, and you should be good during the interviews. So Roshel, now we're heading towards the end of the podcast. So what I'd like to ask you is, once you get the job, how do you make sure that you do really well at it? Like, what should you be studying, or have you pursued any more certifications, or how have you enhanced your knowledge so that you get that promotion and get really good at your job?
Yeah, that's a great question, Raghav. So I think the first thing when you get into any job, and especially as a project manager or a program manager, is understanding what has happened before. In order for you or for your project or your program to go well, you would have to, like, I think, talk to other people in your organization, understanding the learnings from other projects, I would say. So that was key, just to understand, how does this company work, or how do the projects in this company work. And if you see a format of things happening, you can you have the opportunity to rectify that and not repeat those same mistakes, because you're coming as a new person in that organization. Just having some of that learning will actually help you in your job. I did not I would say, like, I went knee deep into my project, so I didn't really have the time. But at least my organization has this like every Friday has the learning day. So I'm actually, like, spending more time getting, trying to get certifications in my domain, because I work in the insurance industry. I'm trying to actually better myself, or just gain more knowledge in the insurance industry, because I already have prior experience as a like like a project manager. So I already know all the basics of it. So there is no use of me trying to get more certifications, because I am certain that I want to be in this industry. So the only way for me to do well as like a program manager is to get more certifications in this particular domain that I'm working in. So I'm looking to get some more certifications in the insurance industry, trying to understand more from the market. So I'm focusing on that. But I would say people, I would encourage people, apart from project management, also do some certifications in that particular domain, because that's really going to strengthen your career in understanding like key components of the project. Because just learning about planning, learning about budget would not really help you understand what the project is actually trying to achieve, or what is the scope of that project. So just gaining a little more knowledge in your domain space and getting more certifications on that will actually help you be like a successful or a better program manager or a project manager.
Love that answer. And my last question to you is, knowing what you know now, with all the knowledge which you have, let's go back 4 years into time. And what would you tell yourself in, say, 2019, when you were about to start your MBA? What would you tell that Rochelle?
I would say, don't get comfortable. Take the risk. I mean, like, my current role at Zurich is the perfect thing I could get. And if I did not take the risk, I would have not landed this job. Take the risk, be uncomfortable, have the curiosity to learn more. If you have a path, but if you're being presented something else, don't be afraid to take the risk of trying to learn something new, because you never know how those learnings can actually be beneficial for any of your future roles. And failure is just a part of the process, and any failure is always a learning later on. So just be curious, ask a lot of questions, take a lot of risk, and you're going to have a fruitful and a beneficial career, I would say. Like, and I can promise that, because those aspects were part of my journey, and I would always tell my younger self to do all of these things, to have fun in life. And like it just makes you a better person, a more knowledgeable person, and a wiser person.
All right. On that note, what I will do, Rochelle, is that I'll link in your LinkedIn profile in the description section. So
Sure.
anyone who wants to reach out for more advice can reach out to you. And wonderful talking to you. I think we'll end it on that note.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Raghav,
Thank you.
for taking this time. And I've really enjoyed talking to you, and really, really looking forward to helping any individuals who want to get into this career path.
Pleasure talking to you, and we wish you all the best.
Yeah. Thank you, Raghav.
Thank you.
And that was the episode for today. I hope you enjoyed this conversation and were able to draw some valuable insights from it. If you did, please press the like button, leave us a feedback in the comment section down below, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Until the next time, this is your host, Raghavendra Harne, signing off. Take care.